I've got to say, I'm going to tell you right now, these are movies, and I think the first time I met you, I told you I was a fan from Much Ado About Nothing.
Oh, wow.
And I wanted to be Claudio because of that movie.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
And now we're, years later, you've become, with this character, I think you kind of helped usher in a modern day superhero with women kicking ass.
Thank you. That's one of the things that I'm really proud of, actually, that number one, obviously, at the time when we did the first Underworld, it was much more unusual for a female action thing to work and certainly go to a franchise.
Yeah.
And also not just the fact that it's female-led, but also that it's an original idea. I don't think that would happen now. I think we squeaked in the last minute. There's no video game that it's tied to. There's no books. There's no comic book or anything. And I feel like that. I think we're like the only ones. You know? So that those two things feel really cool.
Do you like? I mean, obviously you're returning. Was it strange returning after all these years?
I mean, I've never played another part more than once, so it is always a little bit strange, yeah. And yet it's really familiar, and you suddenly go, oh, I forgot that this costume makes those weird noises when I sit down. And it's like giving birth. You forget all the painful things and just think.
What kind of noises does the kids do?
Well, it's squeak. It's like two balloons touching. That's what it sounds like.
Do you get that, like, when you're doing a scene? Are you, like, constant balloons?
Yeah, you can hear it. I mean, it's like, is anyone else hearing that? Some are more squeaky than others. Like, so depends. You've got, like, 40 different cat suits, and you end up with your two favourites that you're trying not to wreck, and there's one that's like, don't wear that one. It's somehow really squeaky.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have never thought that. I mean, don't get me wrong. It doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It could be worse. I'd have to say, I've never done an Underworld in a more comfortable costume, and I've never really thought twice about it. So as they go, I'm used to it. But halfway through this movie, looked over at Theo, and we're like, you're basically in slacks and a pullover. How did you get away with it? Charles dances in a skirt. Like, most men are not that. I mean, I think Bradley had on a sort of man skirt as well. Theo just basically wearing his own clothes.
That's not fair.
Not fair.
Not fair at all.
Who he's sleeping with, but it's someone important.
One of the things I find incredible is the fact that you look probably better than you did when you first started these movies.
It has taken me a while to grow into my teeth. I think I've finally done it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you a real vampire? Is it?
I mean, I'm hoping. But I'm just glad. I'm glad that my face has fallen just enough to make my teeth slightly less prominent than they were when I was a child. Because I used to be able to, like, open cans and things like that. They've taken their place finally.
You've had a really interesting year. You've had this, and then you've had Love and Friendship.
Yeah.
What a beautiful movie.
I love that movie, yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, and that's a little bit more my actual natural comfort zone and sensibility, and I love the fact that it's comedy, which I'm really passionate about, and it's fun. It's been a weird thing for me over the last decade or so, being associated with the thing that's the biggest stretch.
Yeah.
So it's been quite nice this year to have both things showing. It's been quite nice.
Do you think playing Celine has kind of made it difficult to get other types of more serious roles?
I mean, no, it depends. I mean, I've been doing, obviously, in between Underworlds, I do 13 or 14 independents, 12 of which most people don't see or haven't heard of. But yeah, I think the thing was, when I first did Underworld, it was people were kind of like, well, she's very fragile, she does a lot of classical literary stuff, And the minute I did Underworld, they were like, well, she's a little bit frightening and mainly has machine guns. So it just sort of depends on what the last movie is people saw you do, I think.